If you want food that'll come back every year that doesn't need babysitting, this is that list. A lot of perennial and fruit tree lists sound amazing, but they actually take a lot more pruning and maintenance than people expect. This list is the ones that are genuinely low maintenance and taste really good. These are the plant it once and mostly forget it foods that come back year after year and actually reward you for it. I'm standing in my food forest right now, and it's winter, so nothing's doing anything right now, but I've had this food forest for about 6 years. I have over 100 fruit trees, many more berry bushes and fruiting perennials in this garden than fruit trees even, and I've been doing it for a while, so I know what comes back every year, and I've neglected this food forest for 3 years because I've had miscarriages and pregnancies and babies, and I haven't done a thing out here for a while. And so I've seen it through neglect, and I've seen what really does well, and I've seen my toddler walk through here, and I know which ones he likes and I know which ones he doesn't like. And so here's my list for you. Guys, these plants, this is the cheat code for toddlers, so you don't have to spend a fortune at the grocery store buying berries for them because they are berry machines. So yes, you're welcome in advance. This is my currant bush right here. I've got several, but this is probably my favorite one. These are white currants. I also have pink and I have red and I have black, and they're all really good. Except for the black. Those are more for medicinal purposes. But these currants are delicious and they're beautiful, and they're one of the first things to ripen during the year, and they are so easy. They grow in partial shade. This is actually in full shade, this big one right here that I have, and it still produces like crazy. I have never had problems from pests with it, and nobody that I've ever talked to has. And they're delicious. Did I tell you how good they are? Anyway, currants are where it's at. I love the white. The pink are really good too. The red are great. Black, I wouldn't recommend those for fresh eating. Next up is gooseberry. Now my gooseberry plant is right here. My bush, you can see it's right, that's the base of it right over there. Then I have another one over here. And those are wonderful. And again, these do really well, even in partial shade. And they produce really well. They are hardy plants, and they are thorned though, so just be aware of that. They are great for fresh eating. They are great cooked. Gooseberry pie is delicious. I love eating them right off the bush. They are not everyone's favorite, but most people who've tried it that I've seen really like them. I have never seen any pests bother my gooseberries. Next up is raspberries. And that whole back fence line is covered with raspberries, and they are very generous when you plant them. So I like to specifically pick the non-thorned varieties, but they're so generous. They're so kind. You can prune them wrong and they still produce for you. Raspberries will give year after year after year, and they'll spread for you, which is wonderful because, I mean, who doesn't want more raspberries? And I'd show you my strawberries, but the snow is covering them. And saying strawberries almost feels like cheating because it's literally so easy to grow. Some people won't even grow them because they spread so quickly and easily, and they proliferate so much. But again, like the raspberries, is there ever such a thing as too many strawberries? I can't imagine. You can freeze them, you can cook with them, you can eat them straight, you can invite your friends over and have a strawberry party. They are great ground cover, and they make sure that the weeds are more suppressed than they would be if the ground was bare. So they're doing multiple duties in your garden, suppressing the weeds, feeding you, if you've got enough of them, feeding the birds as well. But they're delicious. I don't think I need to go on much more about it, but I've never had a problem with strawberries as far as pests, and they're the best. Nankin cherry. I'd been growing Nankin cherries for a while, and I just recently discovered how much my toddler loves them, and so I have cut so many cuttings of Nankin cherry, and I have more rooting in my house this year than ever before because I want to plant them everywhere. They are the easiest shrub to take care of. They grow beautifully. I mean, they are really beautiful. They could be decorative bushes in your yard if you wanted. The flowers in the spring, it's one of the first things to flower, and it's covered in flowers. It is so beautiful. And then you get these beautiful cherries on top of it. They're right on the bush, and it's easy because for some reason, I don't know why people don't talk about these more often, and they always have these cherry trees, and sometimes cherry trees can be finicky, but the Nankin cherry, the bush cherry, is not. And it tastes just as good, if not better, I think. Anyway, it's never had a pest problem. It's fantastic. They're so good, and I want them all over the property. Nankin cherry, you can just plant it and forget it, and it will give and give and give and give its whole life, and it's perennial, so there you go. Here is my mulberry bush. I've got another one growing over by my gooseberries, but mulberries are really amazing. I know it's the middle of winter, and so it's hard to see what they're doing and what they look like when they're in full bloom, but now is the time to be ordering these perennials so that you can plant them first thing in the spring and potentially even have some fruit this summer. So I'm trying to get this word out now on what ones are easy to grow without pests, so that you guys can be encouraged, get some ordered, and then get them in the ground and have something beautiful to eat this summer. But mulberries are incredible. I think they kind of get a bad rap. People say they're messy and they leave stains everywhere, but if you're somewhere where you're worried about it staining pavement, get a white mulberry. They don't stain, and they're just as delicious. And that's a thing. They have white mulberries. They are so prolific that it can feed the wildlife, the birds, and you on top of it. They are hardy, they are pest resistant and disease resistant, they are tolerant of frost, they are tolerant of diseases. They're sweet and they're snackable right off the tree, and my kids love them. It is one of the few fruit trees that's a really truly plant it and forget it type tree. And then asparagus. Asparagus takes a couple of years to establish, but you plant it and then you forget it. And then you come back a couple years later and you've got asparagus. And who doesn't love some asparagus with some steak and dinner's coming up. I need to not talk about food too much. Anyway, asparagus is one of my favorite vegetables to eat, especially if it's fried in butter and... Okay, really, I need to stop. Yes, I'm definitely hungry. Here's another one that's under the ground right now that you can't see, but rhubarb is really good. Now, that's not everybody's cup of tea, I know, but I like rhubarb pie. So rhubarb is a really good perennial because once it's established, it comes back year after year. You can neglect it, you can dig it and divide it and multiply it, and it produces so much food. Once it's mature, it's crazy. And if you don't want to use it, it's a great pollinator. They produce crazy, beautiful flowers that are really neat looking if you just let it go to seed. And then herbs are so good. There's a lot of perennial herbs that are super easy to grow and not finicky. Things like sage and thyme and oregano, chives, dill, parsley. My mother-in-law has parsley that's still growing and it's got snow on it. They're practically immortal, and they deter pests, which is fantastic. And they bring in pollinators, which will help pollinate all the beautiful flowers for your fruit that you have growing on your perennial fruit providers, on your perennials. And here in Virginia particularly, peach trees are so easy to grow, and they are prolific in the fruit that they produce. My peach tree that I planted, it was the first thing I planted in my food forest, started producing 2 years after I planted it, and I didn't have to spray it. I didn't hardly ever prune it. It just grew and produced abundantly. So if you're in Virginia, Appalachian Mountains, Zone 6B, 7, peaches are really fantastic. I know that other places, other regions have other ones that are good, so figure out what grows best in your region. Usually apple will do really well in certain areas. Cherries, I know, do really well in the Michigan area, but peaches do really well where we are. And so check that out. I'm sure that there's a type of tree that will grow really well without pests where you live. You just got to kind of figure out who knows that information. So if you plant these, the ones that I talked about, a lot of them have varieties that are blooming and producing fruit at different times during the season. So you can essentially plant them and have something to eat all throughout the spring, summer, and fall in your garden, and it's completely almost no maintenance at all. So if you want to know the cheat list for that, I made a list and a chart, because I love those, and a calendar that is really easy to see and read, and it's got the links for different varieties, even to places that I'm not affiliated with, just so that you can have a full continuous harvest calendar of what to plant, what varieties to plant. And the list is the most pest resistant varieties out there as well, and disease resistant as well, so that this is the easiest, most continuous fruit harvest that you could have. Check out that link below. It's a free download that I made. Just click on the link and you can download that. It's a really great resource to have and kind of see what you're planting, when it's going to produce, and make sure that you have something all the time. You can bring your 2-year-old out into the garden instead of having to buy raspberries at the grocery store every week, which I know is a fortune. Imagine not having to buy fruit for your toddler anymore if you've got one. If you know, right? That alone is worth buying a few plants, because it will save you so much money over the years, because it's constant and so expensive. It's crazy. So yeah, get a couple plants and have it come back year after year and have a continuous harvest, and you are golden. I mean, you found the cheat code. So these are the plants that quietly build a food forest for you. You don't have to keep coming back and replanting them year after year. They'll come back whether you remember them or not, and then they're definitely not going to be hit by pests very hard, if at all. So definitely check out getting some of these plants, because you won't regret it. If you're interested in knowing what are the best plants that you can plant in an annual garden for people who have black thumbs or toddlers and don't have time to really spend a lot of time in the garden during the year and want something that actually tastes good, I have another video for that, and I'll link that below as well. Check that out. It's a fantastic resource, and the food is actually delicious. Like, this is the good. I'm not talking about like kale or radishes, which I personally don't like, but stuff that you go out there and you're actually excited to snack on. So check out that link and have a wonderful day. Stay blessed.